1、2、3。Okay, originally we got a leaflet through the door and me and two other mates started, so the three of us started Kung Fu, went along, loved it, died in the class like most people do, and just enjoyed the good sweaty atmosphere and stuff. Eventually the two found drink and women and faded away, and I carried on. In the beginning, like everyone else, I had a normal day job, and I was lucky enough that I was able to, when I became an instructor quite early, really, within sort of 5 years of training, and but then I literally trained every day from when I started, pretty much, or at least every lesson, and the lessons progressed to every day. When I was with my original instructor, you know, I paid £741 a month for my training and travelling per month, and so it was a lot of money in those days. And I trained for over 10 years with him. So when you think of what people do for a master's degree, you know, I've done that in Kung Fu and over. Eventually I opened up my own club, and what I did was each time I earned enough for the equivalent from a day's earnings, I would drop a day at work. I was lucky that I was a director at work, so I could, I had the power to sort of pull the strings that I needed to, and that they needed me. So I was fortunate that I just kept dropping days, so eventually I was full-time, and I've been full-time now for about 11 years teaching Kung Fu. I think martial arts is a very prolific place in the modern day society as well to keep people healthy. It's like any business model. If you're not good at what you do, or you haven't got a good product to sell, people don't want to buy it, so you'll fail. My punches, bakwa set. Step around behind, choke under, kick out for the spine. Be careful, yeah? You go along to class, there's always, well, hopefully there's always a few people there, you know, and so you train with the guys that are there that night with the girls, and at the end of the day, you know, at the end of, you're training against your own self-motivation. Mentally you have to get ready for the physical challenge, but also mentally you can't crumple when you're performing, or if you've got a, if someone does attack you on the street, for instance, you know, you've got to have that mental focus to be calm in a situation, and if you panic you become blinkered, and your thoughts become narrowed, even the brain becomes tense as well as the body. People see things like MMA, fighting now, Muay Thai and stuff like that, but they forget, if you look at the rules of MMA fighting, and don't get me wrong, those guys are really, really hard and super strong as well. But if you look at the rules of what you can't do in MMA fighting, like small joint manipulation, like the fish hooking, whether it's in the mouth or the eyes, pressure point strikes and stuff, you know, generally those things are not allowed to be done. And so in Kung Fu you're trying to do everything you're not allowed. You know, whether it's like snake spitting out its tongue, you're sticking your fingers into the eyes. Send them away and then strike from there all the way down. Yeah? Okay, so think about the throat when you come in, then change to the outside from there. If you think of dancing, you know, whether it's break dancing, ballroom dancing, it's a style that you're adhering to if you're learning that style. Martial arts is the same. I think in traditional martial arts, you not only learn the pattern teaches you the art, so the actual forms teaches you the style that you're learning. People can fight naturally, but can you fight with a style? If you don't know the patterns, you don't know the movements and the style, and if you don't know the patterns well enough, you don't know the martial applications. And each pattern is progressive in what it teaches you. It teaches you new principles of how to move and how to strengthen the body and stuff like that. And as far as testing yourself against an opponent, I did 10 years of full contact fighting in Sandar, and did pretty well in that, but 2 times a year we competed. I only really lost once. The majority of people, they think of martial arts classes almost like a way of becoming fit, whereas in China it's a lifestyle. As a Westerner, my aim is to become better than the Chinese, and the Chinese friends we have out there we train with, their aim of course is they don't want the Westerner to be better than them, so we actually help each other progress, so it's a win-win situation.